What's up, everyone? This is the continuation of the Super Metroid 90% tournament here on GSA. My name is Typo, and I'm going to be providing commentary here tonight between this matchup with FeralSR and InsaneFirebat. So what we have here is round one of the losers bracket. Both InsaneFirebat and Feral have moved on to the losers bracket. That's not saying that neither of them can go on to be in the final match. The way this works is the runner that actually wins all of the contests in the losers bracket goes on to face the winner of the winners bracket. So that's always an interesting thing, seeing the underdog come from behind, and always interested to see what the result will be. But we are starting out here, and both runners are underway. Looks like both InsaneFirebat and Feral are pretty synced up. And they are going through Serious Station right now, doing some pretty basic stuff to get over to Ridley. And this is the usual stuff that you see in any run, so nothing too special right here. They'll go through this sequence and head down to the planet Zebes. Just to give you an introduction to the runners themselves, Feral is the number 4 seed for this race. He has a 43-44 in New Route, which is a PRKD. For those of you who do not know, PRKD is the boss order. So that is Phantoon, Ridley, Kraid, Dragon. And Firebat is number 12. He has a 47-41 in the KPRD route, which is Old Route. So he will do Kraid first, then Phantoon, then Ridley, and then Dragon. Sorry. I actually reversed 2 of those. It's KPDR. Dragon being the 3rd boss and Ridley being the 4th boss. So heading out here from that Ridley sequence right there, they try to avoid some of this steam. Door times look pretty good so far. They're going to try to get something around a 44, 45, 46 for this final room, and then move on to the planet. So it looks like we have a 45-86 from Feral and a 43-83 from InsaneFirebat. He did just hit 1 steam in that last room. They caused him to fall down a little bit, but still very good times from both runners. All right, so just to let you guys know, you are going to see some divergences in this route. The beginning is pretty basic. They both head down, get their starting items, then head back up and take out Bomb Terizo. Go towards Green Brinstar, do some more item collection before heading over to Red Tower. Red Tower is the big divergence where Feral will most likely go up for a new route, and InsaneFirebat will go down for old route. So heading out from the ship here, Feral just a little bit ahead. InsaneFirebat going through that door. We may see some Moonfall here from Feral. Looks like he's not going to do that. So this will be a Moonfall-free race. If you've seen... Oh, no, there we go. So Feral doing Moonfall there, down the climb, which will save about, I believe, 4 to 5 seconds. And we'll give him a slight advantage here at the start. Taking this elevator down while InsaneFirebat goes across the pitless room. This is a room where you generally want to jump on all 4 of those platforms to save some time, but it is kind of tricky to get the timing down. Feral picking up the Morph Ball, the oh-so-needed item for this particular route and many other routes. And we do see Feral is now heading over to a room called Construction Zone. He may do a down back here, just like that. That down back actually pushes Samus forward, you can see, and Feral shoots down those blocks to move efficiently throughout that room. Picking up the first set of missiles, and then heading on back up, while InsaneFirebat is right behind him grabbing those missiles. Nice little movement there from Feral, and he will then head up the elevator and head back through the pitless room, doing it in the reverse method as you have to do it, and killing some pirates along the way. All right, so heading in here, there is a damage boost method, and we may see Feral use that here. Just taking a damage boost off of that little lightning bolt that the pirates shoot, and heading into the climb. So this climb room can be done two different ways, probably more, but the two common ways are doing the wall jump on the right side, where Feral is doing it right now, and you can also do a ledge grab method. We'll see if InsaneFirebat chooses to do that or chooses to go up the climb on the right side. Looks like he decides to do the same method as Feral. The climb on the right side is generally quicker. The ledge grab method is an alternative method that you can do if you feel more comfortable with it. But both of these runners choosing to do the wall jump method. Feral heading into the Bomb Chorizo fight here, and we will see him deliver 5 pea shooter shots, I guess you can call it, to Bomb Chorizo, then 4 missiles followed up by 2 more missiles. All right, so Bomb Chorizo spawns for Feral. He will grab those missiles, shoot those first 4, grab more, and finish off Bomb Chorizo with no issue at all. InsaneFirebat doing the same thing here. There are those P shots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stopping, shooting 1 more missile, grabbing the rest, and shooting the other 2. So sorry, I made a mistake before. It's actually 5 P shots, 4 missiles, and then 3 more missiles after Bomb Chorizo gets his iframes. So we see that Feral went through Alcatraz there. We'll see InsaneFirebat do that soon. The Alcatraz skip is a little bit of a time saver here, where you can just kind of wall jump and morph into a ball and get up that area that you wouldn't normally do in a casual run. Does save a pretty good amount of time, especially if you get a first try. You will see that Feral is taking down these pirates here so that he can save energy. He definitely wants to save some energy since he's going to go up Red Tower. Whereas Firebat will probably just hitbox through these. No, he actually uses the missiles as well. So you can do it either way. You can actually just go straight through these pirates, or you can kill them with missiles. The problem that InsaneFirebat has here now is he needs to make up his deficit of missiles to open this door that Feral is opening here. You need 5 missiles to open this door, and then perform the early mock ball strats to get supers. So Feral grabbing those supers. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat coming down here is going to have to kill 2 of these guys. 1 gives him the 2 missiles he needs. He gets the second set of missiles and gets through the door without much issue at all. All right, so Feral heading down here into what is considered Pink Brinstar. Little area where you move through a set of walls with bombs, and then head into the following room where you will get a second set of missiles and the charge beam, which is extremely important for this run. So we see that Feral heads down here, does a little down back, heads over to the side, grabs these missiles, and will go down and get the charge beam. InsaneFirebat right behind him, bombing out this wall. So there is the charge beam grab. After this, Feral will do some wall jumps against these rightmost walls over here. We'll have to open this with a super missile and head into what is called Green Hills. So we see that he does a little mock ball there to get through Green Hills. Kills one of these side hoppers. And goes for a nice damage boost there. That gives him iframes to get through that other hopper. Makes the room very efficient. Kills that cactus there to get an extra super. 1 more super, and then heads into Red Tower, where he will go up. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat going down Green Hills as well, doing the same thing that we just saw Feral do. Feral using that pea shooter to get up there. Gets a pretty clean Red Tower, and heads into Hellway. Hellway, as you can see, is named that way because there are a bunch of things that can go wrong here, but if you use damage boosts in a proper way, you can get through the room pretty smoothly, as Feral does there. So InsaneFirebat going down here, Feral went up, and he's going to grab his Power Bomb pack, which he'll need to get up towards Phantoon. InsaneFirebat getting through this room pretty smoothly, and he's going to grab Spazer, I believe. Spazer is not required for this run, but if you happen to have an affinity for the beam, you might want to use it. And I know that InsaneFirebat does. So he may take about a 20-25 second loss to grabbing this, but if you're more comfortable with it, then It's a nice dream to have. All right, so Feral heading up the elevator, and he's going to go over to Moat very soon. The Moat room is a tricky one on New Route. There are two ways to get across this. You can do a 1-frame jump, and then do a 2-frame wall jump, or continuous wall jump, if you want to call it, across the moat. Or you can do a bomb strat. We'll see what Feral decides to do here. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat getting through the initial entry sequence of Kraid's warehouse, and he'll be over to Kraid soon and attempt that quick kill that we've seen so many times. Feral grabbing those missiles, getting that continuous wall jump on the second try, so very nice. In under 10 minutes, he is across the moat and on his way over to Fantoon. All right, so InsaneFirebat heading into the Kraid fight now. Gets across these spikes, shoots one super into that door. And he's going to do a strat here called Kraid Quick Kill, where you want to either use 3 missiles and 2 supers or 4 supers to take down Kraid. And very soon, Feral will be into his first boss, which BT is considered a mini-boss, the boss that we saw both Feral and InsaneFirebat already defeat, so this is the first true boss. And InsaneFirebat successfully gets past Kraid, doing the quick kill, grabs Varia suit, which will be of much help to him. Feral does not have Varia for Fantoon, and the issue there is that Fantoon will deal twice as much damage to Feral as to InsaneFirebat. So he has to be somewhat cautious here, but with enough experience as Feral has, he doesn't really have to worry about too much. Although there are still things that can go wrong. So we'll see how this works out for Feral here. Looks like he got a pretty quick eye close there. He'll have to wait for Fantoon to respawn and then try to shoot some missiles. Gets 2 missiles in there. 2 more. Has to be kind of careful with his health here. He has 22 energy. So he does not get a fast there on the second. And he's at 52 energy. He can take 1 hit. The second hit would put him... would have to actually have him restart since he hasn't taken a save yet. So has to be a little bit cautious here. But he is, and he gets a 3 round. Very nice. Finishing off Fantoon, and he will be heading up this shaft here, and we'll be going to bowling very soon. So you see InsaneFirebat finished off Kraid Warehouse pretty easily, heading out here to grab a E-Tank and doing an item collection route. This item collection route is pretty unique to the KPDR route, as it is something you do early on to get Speed Booster and also Wave Beam. Feral heading up here to get his second set of super missiles. And InsaneFirebat grabbing the high jump boots. Alright, so Feral heading up the shaft here. He's going to do one of many possible strats heading up here into Attic. Attic is a room with a lot of enemies and a lot of things that can potentially happen that can cause some distress, but you can also be a very fast room. You can do it in about 7 or 8 seconds. So we'll see what happens here. Feral just unloading ammo into these enemies, the atomics and the pirates, and gets through very smoothly. Really nice room from Feral there. Alright, so InsaneFirebat heading down. He's going to be at Bubble Mountain very soon. Feral just rolling across this area here. We'll do a quick bomb jump. Grab some missiles or energy from that one enemy, and head into bowling as we see InsaneFirebat coming up to Bubble Mountain. Bubble Mountain can be a bit tricky with that cactus at the top, but if you time it right and he does not hit you, you're all set. Just as we saw InsaneFirebat do there, so that was a really smooth room from him. And he will now head up, do a little wall jump there, gather some ammo or energy, and head into the final room before Speed Booster. So Feral gets a quick break. He also mentioned that he got a rare mid pattern. I totally missed that. Sometimes Fantoon gives you a very rare mid pattern that you normally don't see even during practice. I'm not sure what the odds of getting it is, but it's probably something around 5% or so. So he actually got that, and that's probably what threw him off. But he is picking up a very important suit here. Gravity suit's going to allow him to take less damage and also go through Meridia without much issue. Alright, so InsaneFirebat heading down here after getting Speed Booster. He's going to go into this little corridor here to get the Wave Beam. Jumps on a few of these platforms, opens that door, grabs the missiles, and then he'll grab Wave Beam very soon. Feral heading down here. Probably will kill these two crabs for some ammo or energy. And he leaves this area with 3 power bombs. He's looking pretty good. InsaneFirebat grabbing that Wave Beam. And then he'll head out, and he'll be on his way up to Fantoon. So while I have some extra time here, I just want to mention that Vi is the sponsor for GSA, and if you're interested, they do have a betting service. Feel free to type !bet in chat for more information. Feral getting through reverse Hellway there really easily. Some nice damage boosts there off of the Samus Eaters. InsaneFirebat taking this corridor out as you normally would in this route. Since you do not have power bombs yet, you cannot take the other, slightly more efficient way. Heading through this room, he'll be going into Business Center. And in Business Center here, you can actually do a little bit of farming. Opts to get big health there, and then heads up, and he will be going into Red Tower, which Feral went up about 5 minutes ago. Alright, so Feral also grabs Spazer there. We saw that InsaneFirebat grab Spazer for his route. It's not required, but it's something you can grab. For new route, which Feral is doing, you definitely want Spazer for the added damage since you do not get the Plasma Beam. The Plasma Beam is one of the huge differences between old route and new route. And we do see that InsaneFirebat went for the Alpha Spark there. He did get it. Saves a very small amount of time, but it's really cool to see, and heads up Red Tower. Alright, so he's going to do a kind of a hero shot type thing here to open up the block, just like that. Do some wall jumps, and gets through very smoothly. Very nice Red Tower there, as Feral grabs his second E-Tank. So Firebat's going to be doing many things that you already saw Feral. He's going to be grabbing those power bombs. He's going to be going across the moat. However, he does have Speed Booster, so a lot of these things will be a little bit simpler for him to do. Feral grabbing those high jump boots. He's going to do the same item collection that InsaneFirebat was doing with a few changes. One of them being going up in that direction instead of taking the top route to get the missiles. And then after he gets Wave Beam, he's actually going to head down to Lower Norfair. But before he does that, he wants to grab Ice. So the Ice Beam is pretty important for new route to get early on, as you will need it for rooms in Lower Norfair, and it also does a added damage modifier, which is important for the Ridley fight. So he'll head over there and get that now, while InsaneFirebat heads up through this room, and we'll set up a little short charge here. So he's going to do a spark across the moat there, and then do another spark across the ocean. Feral freezing those two platforms and getting a nice mock ball out of there, rolling underneath those gates. Alright, so Firebat heading down this corridor here. He'll be at Fantoon in no time. Just needs to open this bottom door with a super, and then head into the room with Fantoon. Meanwhile, Feral going into the Bubble Mountain area that we already saw Firebat go through. We'll see what strat he decides to use here. All right, so doing a wall jump on the right side there, being cautious about that cactus at the top, and getting a nice damage boost off of that waver. So a very clean room for him. Clears out that bubble right there and heads in to get Speed Booster. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat doing a missile strat here on Fantoon, getting a few nice shots in. He only takes 20 damage in regards to the flames and how much Fantoon does against you. Feral was taking 40, so he won't have to worry too much about his energy here. So we see a few more missiles there. We'll wait for Fantoon to come back. We'll try to do a little bit of a Doppler. Gets about 3 or 4 shots in there, and should be a 3-round if he can get the missiles and finish off with a super here. Unfortunately, he does not get a mid pattern. Looks like it's going to be a slow pattern. So that's 2. And a super. A nice result from Firebat there. With a mid, slow. Alright, so Feral heading into this corridor. He might skip these missiles. No, he actually grabs them. Always nice to grab these missiles as a precautionary measure in Turian, as we'll see later. And he'll grab Wave Beam and then head down into Lower Norfair, which is a very tough area of the game, especially this early. Firebat grabbing his second pack of super missiles, and he'll head up into Attic soon, although he'll have the advantage of Speed Booster, of course. Alright, so you see Feral heading through this acid here, doing a few damage boosts there. And then heading down. And he might set up something called Lava Spark. Lava Spark is a trick that requires a stutter 3-tap method of setting up a spark. And it looks like he might have gotten that. It's pretty close, at least. Yeah, it was just a little bit short. So instead, he's going to have to do a gravity jump here. So the gravity jump, he's going to start his jump, turn off gravity suit, and that'll propel him up through here. He will take damage during that, but not so much that he has to worry about things. So he can just turn gravity suit back on and then head into this room here. And he is now in Lower Norfair, going through one of the toughest areas of the game. So everyone give your best to Feral to make sure he makes it through this properly. All right, InsaneFirebat now taking a quick break at bowling. He'll be grabbing gravity soon, and Feral will be setting up with a spark here. I believe that is a stutter 3-tap that he just did to get through these pillars. Brings him down to about 122 energy, so he has to be cautious in this room here. This is called worst room in the game, and it indeed is a very tough room in New Route. As you can see, he has to use the iframes there from the pirates to move through, and he gets it really nicely. Gets that ball jump over the top of that final pirate and makes his way into Amphitheater. So things are looking pretty good so far for Feral. Looks pretty much like a textbook Amphitheater here. Gets past that last pirate and makes it through those 2 tough rooms. So excellent start so far. One small issue there is he actually missed getting the spark as he walked over those blocks that he was supposed to bomb out. So he's going to be kind of cautious here. These key hunters do a lot of damage. They do 50 damage. So he needs to be very cautious as to where he takes damage here. He chooses to take the save, which is always a good choice, especially in these races. And he will head down towards Ridley now, dropping a few power bombs in the process. All right, so this room up here for Feral is called Wasteland. There are a few large hoppers here called Deskigas, and they will also do a lot of damage like anything else in Lower Norfair, so he has to be cautious of those as well. You can clip through these platforms here, just like he did. Just hit those spikes and then drop through the platform at the right set of frames. So he gets through one of those to save a little bit of time, and then he'll do a spark on these two metal pirates, getting some much-needed energy here, and also some additional ammo, particularly those supers, which will be important for Ridley. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat heading over to the tube here. He's going to bomb that out with a power bomb, and then head up into Meridia. So he will be heading towards Batoon and Dragon, while Feral does a little damage boost off one of those balls there, and heads into the Ridley fight with 7 missiles, 9 supers, and a power bomb. He can use an X Factor here if he wants to. We'll see what he decides to do. Alright, so he's going to stick with no X Factor. Just going to do some charge shots on Ridley to start out with. Those 9 supers are very important because they do a lot of damage to Ridley, especially since Feral does not have plasma. So he's going to want to take advantage of unloading those supers and those missiles as well. Getting Ridley in a pogo pattern like this is pretty important. You can kind of just sit along the edge of the bottom here and shoot Ridley. If he does go into a swoop pattern like he just did, you just need to make sure you time your shots properly. And you want to do something called a hero shot, where you shoot and jump up, and you kind of follow the shot up into the boss. And so we see Feral do that a couple times. His energy's still pretty good here. Looks like he's having a good fight so far, and he'll start to unload those supers soon. In the meantime, InsaneFirebat, taking quick care of Batoon, gets through that fight pretty easily. Leaves the room with 1 super, so he's going to want to grab 1 more. He may farm just before he goes into Coliseum. But before that, he's going to grab the energy tank. Feral finishing off Ridley with a very good fight. With 123 energy, he's pretty comfortable here, so he should get the energy he needs from the drops to progress further on, but he does also opt to get an additional E-tank, which will allow him to escape Lower Norfair much easier. So with 3 E-tanks and full energy, 11 missiles, 4 supers, and 3 power bombs, he looks to be in really good shape for heading out of Lower Norfair. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat coming down to the Dragon fight. He's going to use one of those supers that he grabbed to open that door. Feral getting a backup damage boost there. You want to get a damage boost to move through these violas here. Not violas, Holts, sorry. I think they're Holts anyway. Those Holts there do a lot of damage, just like anything else, and anytime you have iframes going through a door and you can take advantage of it, you definitely want to, and that's exactly what Feral did there. So Feral's doing a little clip through to the Deskigas here. He did not get the full clip, so he took some extra damage, but he's still in pretty good health since he got that E-tank, so no issue there. InsaneFirebat setting up some sparks, gets a nice one on Dragon there, letting some missiles go. Looks like it might just be 1 more spark, and there it is. And that was very close. One of the tough things about Dragon there is Dragon can give you chain damage. And that's exactly what happened to InsaneFirebat. He got chain damage from Dragon and got hit a few extra times. So what he did is he damaged himself down on those turrets there to below 30 energy. And that allowed him to get a health bomb, which is advantageous because now he's leaving the room with 173 energy instead of, say, like 80 or 90, which really helps him out, especially since he has blue suit. That blue suit will allow him to do a spark across Coliseum and save him a little bit of time. So Feral going through these key hunters here has to be extremely cautious. These key hunters deal 50 damage, as you saw. He got hit there, but it's good that he took that extra E-tank because he's down to 96 energy now. Otherwise, we may be in a bit of an uncomfortable situation, but Feral gets through pretty smoothly, except for that 3 Musketeer room with those key hunters. And he will now head over to take down Batoon and Dragon. InsaneFirebat getting through Cack Attack Alley pretty smoothly. He has 6 supers, so he has more than enough, 7 supers now, to get through what he needs to do to get into Lower Norfair and through Lower Norfair. He's going to get Plasma Beam here, though, which is very important for this route. The Plasma Beam does a ton of damage, and it also allows you to hitbox through enemies. So, for example, some of the enemies that do more damage down in Warfare, to avoid them, you can actually shoot the plasma beam as you're walking through them to avoid getting any damage, which is pretty important. All right, so Feral heading up the elevator. He's going to be heading through that tube room that we saw InsaneFirebat go through not too long ago. But before that, he will be going to Warehouse to kill Kraid. The one thing that you can do differently in this in the newer routes are you can do Kraid early if you want. It does waste a little bit of time, but it also gives you a safety of having Various Suit for Lower Norfair. Feral opted not to do that, so what he did instead was do the traditional new route, which takes Various Suit later, and saves time because you have Speed Booster when you go into this warehouse area. Alright, so Feral now is going to set up for a Kraid quick kill, as we saw InsaneFirebat do before. And meanwhile, InsaneFirebat is heading through this little toilet chute here after grabbing Plasma, and he'll be on his way down to get the Ice Beam. Feral getting a clean quick kill there. And he will be grabbing Various Suit. Now, Various Suit's kind of a weird thing because after you get Gravity, but the big thing that it's used for is to make sure that you can get through the Mother Brain fight. Because without that Various Suit, you take too much damage from Mother Brain with the traditional E-Tank layout that you see in Old Route and New Route. Alright, so Feral heading through Warehouse here. And InsaneFirebat going down towards Lower Norfair. As I said before, he's going to make a pit stop to grab that Ice Beam. And we'll see him do that shortly. Alright, so Firebat opening that door with a super. He's going to go through here, do a little space jump strat to get through this room efficiently, just like that. Feral grabbing an extra E-Tank here, putting him at 4, making him very comfortable now with 4 E-Tanks and Various Suit. So I'm sure he's not worrying about much here anymore. Heads out of Warehouse and will now head up into Meridian. Alright, InsaneFirebat leaving that ice room. Heading into this room here with some platforms. He's probably going to freeze these 2 platforms and then do a little mock ball out of here. Rolling under these gates that are closing on him. If you get enough speed there, you can roll under those gates pretty easily. But you need to make sure that you get enough distance and speed to get under those. And both Firebat and Feral did that properly. Alright, Feral heading down here. Is going to take out that gate. That door with a super. Dropping a power bomb here. And we'll be in the room with Batoon in just about 10 seconds or so. Sets up a bit of a stutter charge there to get through. And for Batoon here, what he's going to do is do an X Factor. You want all 4 particles to connect. Unfortunately, that landed kind of low. So he had to wait for those particles to dissipate, and he's going to have to shoot some extra supers into Batoon, and possibly a few extra charge shots as well. One of the worst things about Batoon is the hitboxes, and you might see that happen here, as some of the super shots missed, as expected, because Batoon's hitboxes are kind of weird, and they don't always hit as you would expect them to. But Feral's still getting through the fight pretty quickly, grabbing some extra ammo here, but he's still going to want to grab some supers to get through these next few rooms. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat, now in Lower Norfair. He'll be setting up to go through this pillar room very soon. Grabbing some drops there. Setting up a short charge. And then just sparking through those pillars, just like that. Waste a little bit of energy, but of course it's the fastest way to do that room. Opting to kill all of these pirates except for that last one, which he does a wall jump off of. Then kills this pirate up here with a charged plasma ice shot and heads into Amphitheater for a little bit of a space jump Amphitheater, which you didn't see Feral do because he did not have space jump back then. So this amphitheater is a bit different than what you would see in New Route. All right, so Feral now in the Dragon fight. We'll see what strategy he opts to use here. There are a bunch of different ways you can do this. And Firebat either killing those key hunters or hitboxing through them. As I said before, these rooms in Lorne Warfare are a lot easier than they are if you're doing New Route. Feral doing a Rain Dance strat here, where he does an early X Factor and gets those particles to connect, then unloads some ammo and finishes off with a final spark if he can. And there it is. That's a really nice Dragon fight. Keeps a lot of energy, tries to get Spark Suit here. We'll see if he gets it. Looks like he got it right there on that frame, I think. I'm not the best in terms of figuring out Spark Suit. I've never actually done it myself, but it looks like he got it, so we might see him spark back across Coliseum. And InsaneFirebat heading into the Ridley fight here. So instead of 60 charge shots that Feral had, he only has 20 charge. Feral unfortunately sparking a little bit high, so he bonked that top area of the room there, and he will have to manually go through the rest of Coliseum. So InsaneFirebat getting that same pogo pattern that we saw Feral get before. He'll keep Ridley down here or try to get Ridley to fly up if he wants to do some hero shots. Either way, Firebat doesn't have to worry really about unloading supers here unless he really wants to. It doesn't speed up the fight too much, theoretically, in this route. Unfortunately getting grabbed there, but on the second grab, that was the proper one, and really is down pretty quickly. So nice fight from Firebat. He'll probably grab his ammo and health and head on out through the exit of Lorne Warfare. All right, getting a nice damage boost there off that ball. I believe those are the Violas. Sometimes I get these names wrong, but Viola seems about right with that one. Now Feral heading up here, and he's going to go back past the ship and actually head down to Golden Fours. So he has killed all of his bosses and will now be heading down into Turian. InsaneFirebat setting up a charge shot there, trying to get rid of these Diskegas, or at least hitbox them. Has a little bit of trouble there, but unfortunately he did miss. He actually used a power bomb there, so he will have to use bombs from here on out, and he will have to grab power somewhere, as he is very low. Alright, so Feral doing a little blue suit strat there. Same thing to get through there with a little mock ball. And then heading through this room here. And he'll be in G4 very soon, where he can take a quick break. Alright, so InsaneFirebat heading up into the Three Musketeer room here. This is definitely an easier room in New Route as well. I mean, sorry, in Old Route as well, as you can hitbox these pirates, or you can just actually do these shots from below and kill them. If you get these shots lined up properly, you can actually kill them in one shot, because the way that the Musketeers move up and down, one shot will actually hit them twice and kill them. So it's a nice strat you can do with Plasma in Old Route. And meanwhile, Feral getting to take a quick break here in G4. And he will head into Turian and finish his run up. Due to the lack of power bomb here, InsaneFirebat taking the right route. If you did have a power bomb, he would take the left route, which is a little bit faster, but without a power bomb, you cannot go down that way. Alright, so Feral taking the elevator down into Turian. He has 4 Metroid rooms to complete here. He will get past some nuisance enemies and then go into the baby room to try to attempt a Metroid skip. Okay, so room 1 here. Keep in mind that Feral does not have space jump, so these strats will be different for Feral as they will be for InsaneFirebat. He's going to gather these Metroids, drop a bomb to bomb them off, and just kill them with supers. That was a pretty textbook room. Very nice there. Same thing here, gathering those 2 Metroids and freezing them and killing them with supers. And then room 3, which can be a kind of tricky room. See him get through pretty quickly. So far, 3 really good Metroid rooms for Feral. He is at 20 and 8, which is a good count. Just need to make sure that he hopefully gets another super here. Opting to use missiles there, it's a smart choice. And leaves with full ammo, 20 and 10, so he is more than good enough to make it through any kind of problems that the turrets in the Mother Brain room might cause him. Alright, in the meantime, InsaneFirebat leaving this area and heading. He'll be to G4 in about a minute. Feral setting up for his baby skip. The baby skip is not something you'd see in a casual run at all. It's actually pretty tough to get used to, but we'll see how Feral handles that here. It does save about 20 or 25 seconds if you do it efficiently. Unfortunately, I think one of those dead enemies on the ground got in Feral's way, and he did get grabbed there. So he did not get the baby skip, but he does still have a significant lead, so he is pretty comfortable here. Alright, opening that door with one of his supers. And he'll have to refill his energy. The baby does drain every bit of your energy, so your only choice is to fill up to maximum. And with 4 tanks, Feral is probably feeling pretty good about this. In the meantime, InsaneFirebat coming up to the G4 room, where he'll take a quick break. Alright, so one of the final sequences of this run is this room here where Feral does a Zebutide skip. You can see that he kind of clips through the Zeb by freezing one of the Rinkas and then using that to basically use iframes to clip through the Zeb. And what you want to do is you want to break the glass there on Mother Brain 1 and then unload supers and missiles until she is dead and goes into the Mother Brain 2 phase. So on New Route, it is 60 shots with the Spazer Ice Wave Charge combo. For InsaneFirebat, it will be 20 shots. So Feral will have a slightly longer fight, but it's really not too bad. It's not nearly as bad as some of the more challenge-oriented runs that you may see Super Metroid runners do, like low percent ice or low percent speed, where you have 200 or 300 shots. Here it's simply 60. So when you do it enough, you just kind of get used to it. You get used to all the patterns that Mother Brain can throw at you, and you can see that Feral is pretty comfortably getting through this right now. Meanwhile, InsaneFirebat getting through room number 2, ridding himself of those 2 Metroids, and into room number 3 here. Gathering those 2, bombing them off, and using a super there. Leaving room number 3 with 20 and 9, so just like Feral, he's in really good ammo situation here. We'll gather these 3 Metroids, freeze them, and use missiles on them just to be safe. And he leaves also with 20 and 10. So just like Feral, he has a pretty much perfect ammo situation going in here. Alright, so Feral dealing with these ketchup beams that Mother Brain dishes out after he gets his 45th shot in. You will see that happen. It's on a damage timer. So once you get a certain amount of damage, Mother Brain does start using those ketchup attacks. InsaneFirebat going for the baby skip here. Looks pretty good so far. I don't want to jinx it or anything. Looks like he got through though. So a nice, not sure what it was, maybe like a 6 jump baby skip, maybe a 7 jump, something like that. But he is in a very good situation here to finish in a nice time. So just needs to get past the Zebutite, Mother Brain 1 and Mother Brain 2, and he'll be heading out towards the escape. So we see that InsaneFirebat also freezing that Renka, clipping through the Zeb, and heading into Mother Brain 1. He's going to do the same thing Feral did here. He'll probably freeze these Rinkas over here just to get rid of them, and keeps them from respawning quickly. So using those supers and then the rest of his missiles to take out Mother Brain 1, pretty much a perfect fight there. And on to Mother Brain 2 for Firebat. Alright, so Feral just in a cutscene now. Nothing much you can do about this except just wait for Mother Brain to take out the baby, and then go on to the Mother Brain 3 fight, which is pretty simple. At that point, you have the Hyper Beam, so you don't really have to worry about too much. Just shoot Mother Brain in the head. There's two strats that you can use here. You can sit at the back of the room and just shoot the beam, or you can move forward and reduce lag by doing what Feral's doing here, kind of jumping up and timing your shots so you get all of your shots in the Mother Brain's head, but also reduce the lag that you might experience if you were to sit at the back of the room. So Feral having a nice fight here. InsaneFirebat having a very simple Mother Brain 2 fight, and will now be heading into that same cutscene that Feral was sitting in before. Alright, while we're waiting for this, I'd just like to say that right after this, at 8 p.m., which is right now, but it'll be slightly after, we have a SM64 match between Pumpcation and, let me just get this other name up real quick, some bro you don't know. So be sure to stick around to watch that. Meanwhile, FeralSR heading down into the escape. He's about a minute away from completion. Just needs to do a few sparks here and get through some of these pirates that can cause a little bit of pain, but nothing too bad in the escape area. The escape's pretty easy since you do have a beam that kills everything instantly, and enough energy to get through without much of an issue. Alright, so Feral heading into what we saw as the climb before. He's going to do a spark up through this room. That's commonly known as the Behemoth Spark, where you do a diagonal spark to save a little bit of time. And heads up into Parlor for a few well-timed ledge grabs and wall jumps. Gets through that with just a little bit of steam, delaying him. But here he is coming down the final stretch, and Feral latching onto the ship, and he is off the planet at 46:32. So GG to Feral on his victory against InsaneFirebat, and he will continue on to Losers Bracket Round 2, where we will see him face either, let me pull it up real quick here, looks like he's actually going to face Toasty Muffins. Yeah, because Toasty Muffins has moved on to Losers Round 2, so we'll see that match probably sometime next week. But yeah, GG to Feral on his victory. Due to time constraints, we will not be hearing any interviews here, but let's just watch as InsaneFirebat finishes his run, which is also a very nice run. Alright, so Firebat heading down through the first few rooms of the escape. He's going to be doing everything very similar to what we saw Feral do. At this point in the run, there really is no difference between new route and old route. You have the same kind of energy, you have the same kind of ammo. You don't really need to worry about anything because of that beam that you get from Mother Brain 3. Just a little bit of a delay there in that room. He will head down the shaft here. Does a few precise wall jumps. And heads into the climb room, where he will also... And the spark that he does here is the right side spark. You can do the Behemoth Spark as you saw Feral do, or you can do the right side spark as you saw InsaneFirebat 2. The right side spark is just slightly slower. Doesn't really save too much time to do Behemoth Spark. So Firebat getting a few steams here, but he's now down the final stretch, and looks like he's about to finish in a time of 48:31. So very nice race between these two. Feral finishing in 46:32 and Firebat finishing in 48:31. GG to both of those runners. Yeah, so as usual, thank you to GSA and GSA staff. Thank you to all of you for watching. Be sure to stick around for some SM64 coming up after this, and thank you so much for the runners as well, as they always put on a good show. My name is Typo, and I'll see you next mission.